Back to our Operations Services Committee. On this committee are myself, Councillors O'Connor, Councillor O'Toole, and unfortunately Mayor Clayton is away for meetings right now. So we'll call the meeting to order and we'll look for an adoption of the agenda. Councillor O'Connor.
I move that we adopt the agenda as presented.
With the,
With the addition of 6.1 snow removal.
Thank you for the motion, Councillor O'Connor. Carries. We have no delegations, so we'll go into our reports, and I'll look to Chief Glavin for a service area update, please.
Thanks, Chair Pilon. We'll start off in engineering and transportation. We currently have transportation crews running 24 hours a day, working on potholes. We have our water trucks and hydrovac crews out responding to flooding issues, as well as opening up drains in both throughout the city and the rural service area. For snow removal, we have our contracted residential crews finishing up week A today, with week B commencing tomorrow, March 5th. In capital, we have recently closed a request for tender for our phase 2 of road rehabilitation, as well as a procurement for Mission Estate storm rehabilitation. CN is doing some work on the 132nd Avenue rail crossing. That work is expected to begin today and be completed by March 12th. On March 6th, there is an expected shutdown with detours as they're replacing the warning lights at that crossing. And Communications has issued media releases to that effect. In corporate facilities management, we have posted a tender for the exterior door replacement, as well as for the RCMP with the parkade slab remediation. Last week, facilities management provided a behind-the-scenes tour of the Eastlink Center Design Work Center to local area high school students in participation with human resources and careers for the registered apprenticeship program. In environment and parks, we've posted a request for quotes for our tree supply and installation for planting as part of our tree replacement program. And we have closed the request for quotes for the aerial mosquito control contract. A couple things to note here, but specifically just due to the warm weather, our outdoor rinks are closed until conditions improve. It's just the heat has brought it down to concrete in a lot of places, and it's just not safe anymore to be out there. We've also completed a major elm project or pruning project throughout Jubilee Park, ensuring proper maintenance of those assets. And in development services, this is just a heads up that we're approaching the closing of the Resources Road land sale here on March 12th. The new owners intend to start preparing the site immediately thereafter, so that will include clearing some of the trees. And that's just an advisory or heads up for council that you may get some questions on that. And with that, I'll take any questions.
Okay, appreciate that. It's nice to hear we're closing that piece of land and look forward to some development there. Any questions for Chief Glavin? Okay, seeing none, we'll go on to correspondence. Any other business? Councillor O'Connor.
Yes, thank you very much. I would like to move committee recommend council to reduce the trigger for residential snow removal to 10 centimeters. And in speaking to this, I also believe that we need to, because of the very nature of the winter that we've had 3 Chinooks, we've had rain, and we've had very dangerous conditions for people getting in and out of their neighborhoods. So I think committee should take a look at council committee the whole to have a more robust conversation about how we deal with this to keep our residents safe, because you can't even drive down the street at a regular speed because it's almost like a minefield. So I just think it needs to be happened. So please support this first part of the business.
Okay, so we'll just wait for that to come into our e-scribe. Just look to administration. I do believe we have some reporting coming back soon to Council Committee of the Whole on the snow removal process. Is that it anticipated to be the end of April or so, or mid-April, that we'd look at a full review of the policy of the snow removal program?
Thanks, Chair Palat. I believe as a last committee, we committed to bringing an end-of-season report back to committee. That could either go to this committee or CCW. We're indifferent on how that comes forward. There was a very comprehensive review of the snow policy about 2 years ago. I think the major issue that has come up recently has been the residential trigger that this motion is addressing, but we can certainly bring back anything else that would be of interest to committee.
Okay, no, I appreciate that. I just wanted to check, Councillor O'Connor, have you had a chance to look in the e-scribe for the motion? Is that what your intention is?
It doesn't say that. However, it's just talking about the trigger, but not. So do I make a second? We vote on this one and then do a second motion to make sure that we have a discussion before the review? I think I'm getting a nod from our clerk.
I'm just not, I guess I'll look to admin. I think the way I read this motion, admin could probably, if this goes to council next Monday, they could probably implement that ASAP, I would assume, if they really wanted to. As far as the further information, I don't know if can administration really compile the information till the end of the season if we want to have a robust conversation? I guess that would be my concern, Councillor Connor, that we might not have the information yet to have that conversation would be the concern. So I'm not sure who from admin would like to take that, but.
Sure, thanks, Chair Palat. Ideally, if we were going to do an end of season review, we would probably come back in May optimistically. Not that we haven't seen significant snow in May before, but May is probably a reasonable time to bring back, and we should have reasonable confidence in the data at that point. But if there's anything specific, we could certainly bring that back at any time in between.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's important. I got an email this morning from someone that just came back from Mexico or down south, and he was appalled. And excuse me. So I think it's important that we bring that discussion because people are not happy at this particular junction. I know we probably can't solve everything, but we need to at least pass on the views of our residents as they experience some difficult times getting down their streets.
Okay, so I guess, Councillor Connor, there's a motion you put in that we can have a discussion and a vote on. Did you want to look at putting a secondary motion in after that, or did you want to wait till this comes to committee?
Let's vote this one in and then we'll.
Okay, so with no other conversation, we'll just call for the first motion on the council committee recommending reduce the trigger residential snow removal to 10 centimeters. So please vote on that. Thanks you for that. And now there is another motion in your e-scribe. Is that the intent that you're hoping for that?
Yes, I'd like to move that committee direct administration to bring forward a discussion in snow removal to a future council committee of the whole meeting.
Okay. Thanks for that. And again, this is clear for admin that would come to the next council committee of the whole, or what's the timelines on that?
Yeah, thanks, Chair Palat. We'd still be looking at likely May unless there was reason to bring it forward. And it would probably be useful if there was any particular items that you wanted us to bring back for consideration. As I did say before, we did bring a very comprehensive review of the snow policy about 2 years ago that council considered at that point and made some adjustments to. So we'd be looking likely if there was anything specific that you wanted to see come forward in that.
Yes. I can add a couple of points. Well, one of the things that came up, because we have had rain and 3 freeze-thaw seasons, as we've seen from our potholes, this has exacerbated our pothole situation. But in particular, some people cannot get down their streets even today because they are fighting the road and people have had damages to their vehicles. I think it's important that we bring that forward to take a look. If this is causing damage and safety concerns when there's ice and all issues coming down, I think it's important that we have that discussion.
Okay. Councillor O'Toole.
Yeah, I was just wondering, the people that are having issues, you've obviously talked to them. Have you given them the 311 number to call? That'll get immediate action.
Well, sometimes it doesn't because it depends on what week they're on. They ended off on week A, and now they're supposed to be coming up, and they started again on week A. So the week Bs have not been touched by plows since before Christmas, and that has caused a lot of difficulty for people. And so safety should be our number one issue, and water buildup turns into ice, then it thaws again, and it's very problematic. So that's what I'm looking for going forward, that we have this discussion.
So you haven't given them the 311 number?
Always.
So just, Councillor Connor, just in hearing unless I'm misunderstanding from administration, so your motion's in order. It's probably not going to come back to committee, though, until April or May at the earliest. So,
well, at least it's on record that if the situation arises again and we keep getting complaints from people of navigating through the streets, I think it's important that we listen and try and find solutions. So I know we only have so many contractors to be able to remove that, so people would like to know that they are being heard. And that's my main point. So I'd like you to support my motion.
Okay. Any other discussion or debate? Seeing none, motion's in order. Please vote. That carries. We have no bylaw or policy review. We have just one, the outstanding list. I'll just go back to Chief Glavin again for that, please.
Thank you, Chair Palat. A couple things with the outstanding items list. The first one in here, conventional transit and Trader Ridge, I'm going to request we move that to Q2. It'll likely come back in April, but there's a little bit more work they need to do in the modeling of the existing system to see if we can fit that in without a route expansion. On item 1351, this is where we had some discussion at committee and council about a rezoning that was up in Arbor Hills. If you remember, there was some challenges with notification signs noted from residents. We have implemented the QR code on all future notification signs, so going forward that will happen. And discussing with the contact center, as of the end of the day, this will be incorporated into the city's text service as a separate category that you can subscribe to. So for all intents and purposes, this has been satisfied as an outstanding item, and it would be our recommendation to remove it at this point unless there was additional information that committee was seeking. But the intent of that motion has been achieved at this point, and no other changes at this time.
Okay, just if I can, Chief Glavin, just on the clarification on the Trader Ridge report coming to Q2, with the recent decision with the dome, will we be looking at looping that in as well, or do we need to be making any subsequent motions of that, or with this report coming back, will they look at Trader Ridge shopping area and the dome as part of the looping?
Thanks, Chair Palat. They are also looking at the dome as well as part of that work.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so we'll look for a motion unless there's any other comments on accepting the outstanding items list as amended. Councillor O'Toole.
Yeah, I move that we accept the outstanding items listed as mentioned.
Okay, thank you for that. Please vote on that. And that carries, and with that, we will adjourn our committee business for today. Thank you.